Okay guys, welcome back to my second God tutorial. So what this series is every Tuesday I will be doing a God tutorial that is requested by you guys. And yeah, I'll just be teaching you how to build them, how to level them, and how to play them. So I talk about what items to build first, and I say what you should level, and then I jump into a jungle practice and show you how to use the skills in the most effective way, and then at the end I put some game clips of me actually doing what I was teaching you about. So yeah, this series works best if you leave a comment down below now saying which god you would like to see me do a tutorial on, because there's no point in me doing gods that people don't want to see or already know how to play. So yeah, that's all said, and let's move on to the video. So let's go on to God Builder and clear all this. Okay, so the build I'll be teaching you is for Conquest. So the builds from Conquest normally don't differ too much from other game modes, but because Conquest is Smite's most popular game mode, at least I think it is, I'll be teaching you builds based on the Conquest meta. So, in Conquest, what I would start off with Poseidon is Vamp Shroud as my starter item, and then you have two choices. You can either start with Lost Artifact or Small Talisman. So I'll just quickly put these onto the item bar. Let's go for power. Okay, so Tiny Trinket, not Tiny Talisman. Tiny Trinket and Lost Artifact. Where are you? Okay. So these are your two starts. So you can either start Vampiric Shroud and Tiny Trinket, or you can start Vampiric Shroud and Lost Artifact. So the reason you'd want to start Tiny Trinket is because if you're against someone who has quite a lot of poke, say an Agni, a Vulcan, and you want that extra lifesteal, then Tiny Trinket helps you stay healthy in lane, and you can also build it into Banquo's Talent if you want. Whereas Lost Artifact, it gives you more MP5, and if you build this if you're against a less aggressive lane partner and you're farming up for late game, because obviously this item builds into Rod Tahuti, which every magic damage dealing god normally needs, and Cronus Pendant, which is also a good item on magic damage dealers. So these are two starts you get to choose. I personally picked this one in aggressive lanes, and I picked this one against passive lanes. And obviously you can buy your potions if you need them. So that's how I'd start for Poseidon in Conquest. And then, so the items I'm going to show you now are not in build order. You can build them in any order you want. I'm just going to show you the items that you have to have on Poseidon, which is called core. So I've shown you the start. I'll keep that there, and then I will build. These are my core items on Poseidon that I will build every single game when I play Poseidon. So I'll build that, and I will build. So I build penetration boots rather than power, because the way I play Poseidon is just all on my ultimate. I'll explain that later, but I will build power boots instead of penetration. Then I would build. In Conquest, I will probably build Warlock Sash. It's preference, so no, that's not core on them. So we'll leave that for now. Let's just put all the core items in. Penetration. Everyone needs pen. I will buy that, and then obviously Rod Tahuti. So these are my 4 core items on Poseidon that I will get every single game. I will quickly explain why I choose them now. So penetration boots. It gives you more mana, so you can spam your abilities in lane. Wait, they changed that, didn't they? Okay, so now it doesn't give you any mana, it just gives you penetration and more magic power. So, yeah, just more damage, which is always good. Gem of Isolation is, in my opinion, the item that makes Poseidon good, because it applies whenever you use an ability. So if you use your 2, which it buffs his auto attacks, it also makes them slow. So nobody's ever going to catch up to you. So nobody's ever going to be able to run away from you if you can hit them once. So all you do is use your 2, gives you more movement speed, you catch up to them, you hit them with your 2, and then they are slowed, which makes you able to hit your abilities better, and also it makes them stay longer in the ticks of Whirlpool. So yeah, anyway, I'll explain more why this item is so good later, but yeah, it's just core on Poseidon, you need it. It also gives you health and damage. Like, what else do you need on Poseidon? Okay, so Spear of the Magus, it's the 2 main penetration items is Obsidian Shard and Spear of the Magus. So Obsidian Shard is good if they have a lot of tanky gods with a lot of magic protection, because it does percentage reduction. Where if you're against a team that hasn't got much magic protection and they are quite squishy, then you want to go for Spear of the Magus, because it reduces their protections flat rather than percentage. Because if you haven't built any magic protections, most gods have around 40 to 50 magic protection, and if you remove 30 flat, that's more than you would remove with 33% reduction. So yeah, normally I build this on Poseidon, like I'd build this 90% of the time, but if they have a really tanky team and have all got magic protection, then I would get Obsidian Shard. So yeah. Then I would obviously have Rod Tahuti. I normally get it 5th or last, it depends on how well I'm doing. It normally comes last because it's just so expensive. but it just gives you a lot of damage. That's the main reason everyone builds it. So the items I'm going to go through now are not core on Poseidon, these are optional. So these are items you can build on Poseidon in certain situations, but you don't need them. So these 4 you need, whereas these ones are the... So as you can see, it says damage here, so I'm going to be showing the acceptable damage items you can build on Poseidon other than as core, and then I'll show you what protection items are acceptable on Poseidon. So for damage, you can build this, you can build this, and that, and where's the other one? And that. Okay. So if you want more damage other than as core items, you can build any of these. Cronus Pendant is good for cooldown. This one gives you a lot of health, so you're not tankier, but you have more health, so it acts like you are. You haven't got any more protections, but people have to use more on you to kill you because you have a higher HP pool. So obviously it gives Poseidon more mana, which helps him spam abilities. It helps him have more magic power because it gives you magic power, and it gives you a lot more health. So you would go with that if you feel like you're going to be focused and you want like a bit more survivability. Bancroft's Talon is just good for doing a lot of damage, and same with Bucket Off. These two just give you a lot of damage. This one gives you cooldown and a bit of damage, this one gives you health and a bit of damage. Okay, defensive items. Normally I don't really build any defense on Poseidon, I just stick to these 8. But if you are going to build defensive items, you can, I guess, build this. You build this instead of Spear. It's not the best item, but it is acceptable. I guess you can count Warlock Slash as defensive too. You could also build Spirit Rob's okay. Okay, I'm just going to fill them in and explain them in a second. Okay. Where's it gone? Physical. Okay, so I'll explain these now. So this, I wouldn't really build protection on Poseidon ever, but if you are going to build it, Void Stone is okay because it gives you penetration, bit of damage, and a bit of protection. So it's not too much protection, but you're not losing that much damage. Spirit Robe is only there if they have a lot of CC, because it's good because it gives you cooldown reduction and it gives you a bit of each protection. But I still wouldn't build it often unless you are getting really hard focused and you just want to survive a bit more. It depends how hard you are getting focused. Mail of Renewal is okay against some physical gods. It gives you health, it gives you cooldown, which is great, and obviously physical protection, plus an amazing passive. And Midgardian Mail. Very, very rarely would I ever build Midgardian Mail on Poseidon, but if their team is very auto-attack based, then Midgardian Mail could help you out. Because if they've got like 2 hunters and a Carly in the jungle, then obviously this can help you out a lot. So obviously all these items, these damage and defensive items are situational, but these 4 I always build. It's the way it works. Okay, so that are the items for Poseidon. I'll quickly run into the actives. So the actives you can build, they're pretty much as follows. You can even build that if you're ahead. Okay, so Heavenly Agility, obviously it removes slows and it helps out your team, so it's just a good item if you want that more mobility. Beads, obviously I don't need to explain that, it helps you if you're getting focused. Aegis, it depends who their team is. If they haven't got a lot of CC but they've got a lot of damage, then Aegis can help you out. And Achilles Spear, if you're just really ahead and you just want to kill people and you feel like you're battering them, then Achilles Spear can just help you do that. But you could also build Combat Blink. If they have an Odin and you can't get out of his cage, Combat Blink is acceptable. And like say if you are getting focused by not really Loki, he'll kill you anyway. But if you're getting focused and you feel like you need an instant escape, Combat Blink is okay, but I wouldn't really recommend it. Normally I'd stick to these 2, but Aegis, Achilles Spear and Combat Blink are okay to build. So yeah, that's been it for his build, and now I'll go on to his abilities. Let's just clear this because I'm not going to use that. Okay, abilities. So with Poseidon, this is for Conquest, remember? This is for Conquest. So, oh wait, actually there is an attack speed Poseidon you can build. I'll just quickly show you it. So this is how. So Poseidon's 2 obviously buffs his auto attacks, and then as a result you can build Poseidon as an attack speed god. It's not the best. I prefer ability damage Poseidon, but this does work. So I'd start it off like so. Actually no, I'll swap these around. So ignore the core and the damage. I'm just going to put all the items I would build for attack speed Poseidon in here. So you know what? I'm just going to put these items in, and then I'll just build them in the right order. Let's get some attack speed, attack speed. By that, and I think I'll get spear too. Will I get a spear? I get rod actually. Okay, so the order I will build this in, I wouldn't normally build this in Conquest. It's only really for jungle Poseidon, and you don't really see that. It's okay for League Joust. If you're doing League Joust, you want a 1v1. This isn't a bad build. It's just getting it started. So the way I would start it is with that, just to give you the power to be able to clear the wave, because you obviously need to use your abilities to clear the wave rather than auto attacks. Then I'll build Fatalis, because it just obviously gives you the attack speed and it can help you glue to the target, hit more auto attacks. Then I'll build Gem of Isolation. I'll explain why this item is so good later on when I'm showing you his abilities in game. Then I will build Demonic Grip, then Bancroft, then Rod. That's how I build attack speed Poseidon. And for actives, I would get actives. I get Achilles Spear and beads probably. But yeah, I'm not really going to explain these items too quick, really that much, because I've already explained the main build for Poseidon. This is just if you wanted to build attack speed Poseidon, this is what I would build. It's okay, it's not the best build, but it works. It does work. Okay, so let's get rid of that and let's go into his abilities. So, for Conquest mid lane Poseidon, it also works for solo. This is how I would level. So I would level his Whirlpool, and then I would level his Tidal Surge, and I will continue to put as many points into his Whirlpool as possible. At level 4, I will pick up his 2, just because it helps you stack up his passive meter quite fast, and it gives you the movement speed to escape or go in, either or. Obviously, level 5, you want to get his ult. So the priorities for Poseidon leveling is Release the Kraken, Whirlpool. It's preference. Okay, so Release the Kraken and Whirlpool are your 2 main priorities you want to level whenever you can. Obviously, you level whenever you can, and then any other times you level your Whirlpool. So with Tidal Surge, if you level that, it gives you more lane clear, but Poseidon normally doesn't struggle for lane clear. But if you are ahead and you want to like box and fight people more, then Trident does do a lot of damage. So in my opinion, I would level Trident next. So I will pick up Whirlpool, Trident. Actually, I wouldn't level that. How do I get rid of you? How do I remove you? Ah, skip. Okay. So let me just read this. Okay, so I would level Whirlpool, level 1. Then Tidal Surge, then Whirlpool, then Trident. And then the Kraken. They're your first 4 abilities done or leveled. Everything has a point in. I put 2 points in my Whirlpool, a point in my ult, a point in my 2, and a point in my 1. Then I would level his Whirlpool again and again. I would skip level 8, and the reason I skip it, if I press this, skip, so what skip means is when you hit level 8, you don't level any abilities until you hit level 9. And by doing this, if I go back, see by doing this, I can't level my Whirlpool or my ult. And I want to max my Whirlpool. I don't really want to put a point into my Trident or my Tidal Surge. So by skipping it, I now have 2 points spare, and I can put 1 in my Whirlpool and 1 in my Kraken. So that way you max out the ability you wanted to max faster, and you get a point into your ult at level 9. And then from there, I would max out the Tridents whenever I can, obviously picking up the ult whenever I can. Trident is maxed out, then you max your Tidal Surge, and just pick up your Kraken, more Tidal Surge, and finally Kraken. So hopefully you followed that. But remember, if you have any questions, or if you feel like I explained something or said something wrong, feel free to leave a comment about that below, and I will be happy to answer your questions. So this is how I would level Poseidon. This is for mid lane Conquest or solo. This is just, in my opinion, the best way to level Poseidon. So yeah, that's been it for Poseidon's God build and leveling, and I will see you when I'm in the jungle to show you how to use his abilities, which are fairly simplistic, but I will do it anyway. So I'll see you there. Okay, and welcome to the jungle practice. So, I've just built attack speed Poseidon because it is the most fun way to play Poseidon. It is the most fun, but it's not not the worst, but it's the worst version of the 2 that I've shown you. So it is by far the most fun build for Poseidon, but it's just not as good. So yeah, anyway, I have 1.69 attack speed, and yeah, I will show you how to use the abilities. So the reason Gem of Isolation is so good, I'll explain it fully now, is Poseidon's 1. It basically, all of Poseidon's abilities benefit from Gem of Isolation. It just buffs every single one of his abilities and just makes him so much easier to play. It's just so much better. So Poseidon's 1, obviously it does this. So for those of you who don't know, it fires a wave in a line from Poseidon, knocking enemies back that are hit. So yeah, I'll show you one more time. Like so. It's a really slow moving projectile, so you mainly want to use it when people are stunned, or like when people are under the influence of CC is when you want to use that ability. So the 2 ways you use his first ability is if someone jumps onto you, or like someone's going on you and you want to run away. Say this Odin jumps onto me, I'm running away. As he jumps, I will turn around, backpedal, hit him with my 1, knocking him back, and I keep running. So that's how you use it for an escape. And if you want to use it for damage, the best way to do it is because it's so hard to hit. It's not hard to hit, it's just because it's so slow. You wait for someone to CC the enemy. So say if Odin is CC'd, then boom, he can't move. Obviously I hit him with it from any range. So that's pretty much just one. It's a good way to knock people back as you're trying to escape. So you quickly turn around, use your one and run away. And it's also, it does do quite a lot of damage. So it's 606 with a not the highest ability, with not the highest magic power build on Poseidon. So Poseidon's 2, what it does is use that, it steroids your auto attacks for the next 5 seconds, and you fire 3 instead of 1. So yeah, it does a lot of damage. So the way you want to use Poseidon's 2 is obviously you can use it as an escape. As you can see, my movement speed down here is 506. If I use my 2, there we go, my movement speed goes up to 582 and I can run away from the Odin bots if they chase me. So yeah, it's a great escape because it gives you a lot of movement speed, and it's also great for catching up to the enemy and dealing damage. So say if Odin is running away from me, I'll pop my 2, charge towards him, and bam, 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 doing a lot of damage. See, the reason Gem of Isolation is so good with Poseidon's 2 is because, say if you use your 2 to speed all the way up to them to get to max range, and then fire your auto attack, once you hit them with that auto attack, if they are running away from you, it will slow them down and you can continuously catch up to them and get closer and closer and closer, and then you'll get close enough so you can use your Whirlpool and your Kraken or whatever you want to do. So yeah, it just slows down your enemy gods and then you can catch up to them and do whatever you want to do to them. And it's also good for getting away because obviously it slows them and they can get away easier. Okay, so with Poseidon's Whirlpool, what Poseidon's Whirlpool does is it places a Whirlpool on the floor, and as you would expect, like a Whirlpool, it pulls them into the middle. Now, the current on the Whirlpool isn't that strong, and if you have really any movement speed, you can walk out of it fairly okay as long as you aren't slowed. So if you're not slowed, you can walk out of the Whirlpool with really no difficulty. But if you have Gem of Isolation, it makes your Whirlpool slow, meaning that they get hit by more ticks, they're in it for longer, and they are slower. So obviously it makes them easier to hit, it does more damage because they're in it for longer, and yeah, it also cripples them for a longer duration because they can't get out. So yeah, Gem of Isolation makes Poseidon's Whirlpool just insanely strong. So as you can see, it's pulling him towards the middle, but obviously Odin bots always try to run back to the same place. So if I use it on this robot, wait for him to aggro me. There we go. He's fighting me, so obviously, did you really just ult me? Rude. So yeah, if he's chasing me, as you can see, this is his movement speed now. If I put the Whirlpool on him, he goes a lot slower. Just quickly kill him. Okay. That's that really. So yeah, just Gem of Isolation is it's just the best item on Poseidon. It's my favourite item on him, and it just makes him so much better. So now how you want to play Poseidon is, Poseidon's big, the reason Poseidon's so good is because his ult is just amazing. This is his ult target, by the way. So as you can see, there's 2 circles. The inner circle does the most damage and knocks enemies up that are inside the inner circle. The outside circle does a lot less damage, but it still does damage and it doesn't knock them up. So obviously you want to hit them in the middle of this circle whenever you can at all times. So Poseidon is amazing when his ult is up, and he's below average when his ult is down. So obviously when his ult is down, he's got all these abilities he can use, which, don't get me wrong, are great abilities and does a lot of damage and can kill people. But Poseidon's ult in team fights can just completely turn the team fight. So the way you have to be careful and smart how you use it. If you just waste your ult and either miss it or use it on the tank, then it doesn't have its best effect. So however, if you in a team fight manage to crack in 3 of the squishies, or 3 of the main damage dealers, doing 3/4 to a half of their health, that's still a lot of damage. So you don't necessarily need to kill them. As long as you hit multiple people with the Kraken, then you are doing a lot of damage to a lot of people, and then therefore you can just win the fight anyway. So I have got footage after this jungle practice and explanation that I will put together, and yeah, you'll be able to see me Krakening multiple people and our team just winning the fight off of that. So yeah, the main way you want to use Poseidon is obviously Kraken as many people as you can in team fights. So yeah, obviously the only time you should go for one person with the Kraken is if you're in the laning phase and it's only a 1v1, that's fine. You can do that early game. But late game when it's all team fights, the only reason you should Kraken one person is if they are the hyper carry, they're doing really well, they're carrying their team, you Kraken them, kill them, get them out to fight. That's fine. But if you can, you want to Kraken as many people as you can and get them all in the middle, and that's just win. So basically, say if you have an Ares, he pulls everyone into the middle, you Kraken them all. Yeah, that's pretty much perfect for Poseidon. Because the more people you ult, the more damage you do to the entire team, and you just win the fight. Your team can be on the back foot, losing badly, and then one great Kraken can completely turn the fight and you just win. It's insane how much damage you can do if it's used correctly. So the combo you want to do when you're Krakening people is you whirlpool them so they can't jump out. Because if you just Kraken straight away, then gods with jumps or dashes can just dash out of it and not take any damage. So what you want to do is you want to hit them with the whirlpool, which cripples them, and what that means is they can't jump and they can't dash. So if you hit them with the whirlpool, they are crippled, can't go anywhere, they have to walk out. And then if they are crippled, you can hit them with the Kraken and they will not be able to avoid it. So, well, you whirlpool, then hit them with the Kraken, and then if you hit them with the middle circle, it knocks them up. And do you remember how I was saying with Poseidon's 1, if you want to use his 1, you want to guarantee it on people who are CC'd. So the Kraken knocks people up. So once you Kraken people, they'll get knocked up in the air, then you fire your 1 and they'll land and take the damage from your 1. That's how you get the most damage out of Poseidon's ult. So the more people you can do that to, the better. So this is what it looks like. So you obviously whirlpool Ra, Kraken him, knocking him up in the air. Really, Ra?
What did you do to him?
Okay, well that was awkward. So my plan was I was going to whirlpool and then Kraken the Ra and it would knock him up into the air and then I'd use my 1 on him. But because he ulted, he was CC immune and didn't get knocked up. Alright, anyway, I'll cut the video and I'll be right back when my ult is off cooldown. Okay guys, welcome back. My ult has finally come off cooldown, so what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to wait for Ra to use his ult, so that way he can't get the CC immunity and avoid the knockup. And I'll be able to show you the combo correctly. So okay, wait for Ra to use his ult. There we go. I'm blinded. Let's not do that, otherwise you can't see. I'm hitting him with the whirlpool, Kraken, and then hit him with the 1. So yeah, that's the combo, and that is how you maximise damage with Poseidon. And obviously, if he survives my ult, then what we would do is, so if you use the combo correctly, you whirlpool them, you Kraken them, and they get knocked up, then you hit them with the 1. If they survive all of that, then what you do is you use your 2 and just chase them down and slap them to death, like so. So yeah, that's pretty much what you do. That's how to get the most out of all of Poseidon's abilities. And yeah, so that's been it for this part of the video, and I will show you, well, I won't see you in the next part because it's just game clips, but I hope you enjoyed the next part, and because I won't be able to speak to you then, I'd like to thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy it and you were new around today, please do subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Thank you for watching.
An enemy has been slain. Slain.